Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition and Dungeons & Dragons game reunions, specifically from the light of the Friends reunion. So, I'm really fascinated by the Friends reunion. They just put this, I mean, it was a big, I'm sure it cost them hundreds of millions of dollars, or at least $100 million to put that thing together. But it was just a reunion of the Friends actors, right? And I was thinking about, what would my D&D reunion look like? So, I think the biggest, the reunion I would be most interested in is the reunion of my Inception group. So, between 1983 and 1986, this was between when I was 13-year-old and 16-year-old, I DM'd probably, I think it was 2 different campaigns, and we played no less than 75 to 150 specific different sessions, right, of Dungeons & Dragons in those 3 years. And we have very memorable stories from that time, and I have very fond memories of it. Now, to tell the truth, I've actually had better campaigns since then, but that was the Inception campaign, and I was thinking, what would the reunion be? I was actually thinking, look at all the fun these, Friends actors are having. Could I reunite with that group, right? Well, that group was 3 people. It was my brother, friend A, and friend B. All right. So, and here's the reality. I don't think I could. So here's the issue. My brother, we have I'm really blessed. I have a great relationship with my brother. I get to see him once a week, once every 2 weeks. We're Garibay, so we're a little cantankerous. So, we kind of, kind of have scrapes every now and then, but we realize we're brothers, and we do what we can to preserve our relationship, right? But here's the issue. My brother played at the table, and he's like 3 years younger than me, right? So he was 10 to 13 when this happened. And the reality is, for him, half of his fun of the game was just screwing the game up for me, right? Which I now understand why he did that. I think a lot of players did that, and he was just like, I'm going to murk whatever crazy plans you have in this campaign. And since I was young, I probably did a little bit of railroading, so it wasn't like I'm not that bitter about it. But the reality is, today, he could care less about them, right? It's just not his thing. He doesn't care. And honestly, to my knowledge, I don't think he's ever played a day since we stopped playing in 1986, right? Friend A, all right? I look back now and I could not do this reunion. My brother doesn't care about Dungeons & Dragons. And the relationships when we circled back, right? So basically, from what happened in 1986 that we stopped playing after those years? Well, all 3 of us, me, friend A, friend B, we all got interested in we all started dating. And, I'm sure it's different today, but in 1986, when you were a male and you were seeking to date a female, you did not say you played Dungeons & Dragons. It didn't help, right? And it could massively hurt, right? Because actually, I know the numbers. Today, 40% of the players in Dungeons & Dragons are female, but that wasn't the case then, right? And so, as soon as we started dating, the game just disappeared like a cloud of dust, right? Because it just didn't jive with the world we wanted to be in, which was where we could date, everybody else in the school, right? And that's what happened, right? So then I went to college, and I got to play in college, which is fantastic. And I didn't see friend A or friend B until I came back from college, right? And actually about 2 years after I graduated college. So we hadn't even seen each other for about 8 years, right? And when I came back, friend A, I was like, hey, we got together, and we spent time together, right? And he's like, what are you into? And I'm like, I'm into D&D, just like we were in high school, right? And he's like, really? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, what are you into now? And he's like, antiques. I'm really into antiques. And I was like, oh. And he's like, check out this super dope $120 bowl that I bought for $1,000. And I was like, that's a nice bowl. And he's like, check out this dope chair. It's 140 years old, and I bought it for $1,500. And I'm like, okay, I see your old chair and your old bowls, but that ain't nothing to me, right? And we just, drifted apart. I was like, he's like, oh my gosh, you're still into Dungeons & Dragons? And I'm like, you're into old bowls and old chairs? And it didn't link, right? We never connected afterwards. We were like, you're kind of boring, right? He was saying that to me, he was looking side-eyed and saying that to me, and I was looking side-eyed and saying that to him, right? I'm like, I don't want to have any interest in learning more about old bowls, right? And it was like his main jam, right? Like it was like he's really into it. Friend B, I got a little bit of sadness. I feel a little bit of shame for this. I didn't know how to handle the problem at the time. So friend B decided that he really liked recreational substances, and actually just one recreational substance. And his recreational substance he liked was totally legal, but he liked it a lot. And I spent some time with him, probably about 3 to 6 months, and I got frustrated because the person he was when he enjoyed the recreational substances, and I'm a teetotaler, so I couldn't really, imbibe with him, right? He did not seem like the same person to me, right? Maybe that's me not understanding what it's like, right? And so because I didn't feel like when I was getting together with him, he wasn't the person I knew, right? Not while he was, there just wasn't any periods where he wasn't imbibing, right? And so I didn't know how to handle that, and I just kind of let things drift off, right? And I wish I had found a better way to be a friend to him during that time and to have fun and enjoy spending time with him, even though he didn't carry any of the attributes or parameters that I connected to my friendship with him. So the reality is sadly, my friends reunion for my Dungeons & Dragons game is impossible. Because, unfortunately, I walked away from my one friend because I just didn't know how to engage with him, right? And I was young. I was in my 20s, and then also, my other friend, I had no interest in learning more about old bowls and old chairs, right? And so the reality is I was the only one who was still playing the game and still interested. So there just really wasn't anywhere to go. That's my story. How about you? What's your story? What would your D&D reunion look like today? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.